That's why I kept more space at the top. And see, they're almost at the center frame. Because here, they're not looking at any sides. So at center frame gives a pretty nice, because they're also looking at the top. You could have composed it, keeping them at 1/3. That's also possible. That would have given a different emotion, a different vibe. I think it's pretty clear again. So, you can see that he is not perfectly at the center frame. And also very importantly, even though he is looking at me and his body is towards the right of the photograph. Okay, to you the left, yeah, to you the left of the photograph. I still kept him at a bit towards the left, whereas by the general theory I should have kept him a bit towards the right. But here it's not important because, see, the viewer needs this environment. That's very important. And also, this boy is looking straight at the viewer. Straight. So that's why this composition, because if you moved him towards the right, there would have been more space on this side, which is just unnecessary. That's it. Okay. Do I have two different versions of this? Yeah. Black and white and color. You can again see difference in emotions. That boy is very important here because it's complementing. Your eye is going from left to right, right, and that boy is adding to the story. Obviously, he is the main subject here, and you can again see color and it gives different vibes. So yeah, what is missing here? Sky, really? I don't think so because the sky would have been a distracting element here. And the color of the background and the dresses of them, a very contrasting color. That's actually that's one of the main reasons I took the photo. But something is missing.
Space on this side.
Yes, space on the right side. I took it from a very close distance. That's why I couldn't keep space on the right side. And also, the fingers, they should have been here. So, I needed space on the right side. That's something missing here. Story, plain and simple story. As the road is going, I kept this side. There's some space on this side. And these flowers, the colors, they're very important here. The viewer might go from here to here and come back. Okay. Candid. Very simple candid, and because this thing is again reflecting the viewer's eyes to the subject, I have kept the subject a bit towards the left, quite a bit towards the left, not at the center. And again, even though the boy is actually looking towards a bit towards the left, that's fine. In this case, it's fine. Something is probably missing here. I'll show you what is missing. It's there in the next book. What is missing? Isn't there something wrong with the composition also? Foreground isn't much important because
the sky is a bit too much.
But you need the sky now for the moon.
Something to complement.
If you add a bit more foreground, then
Actually, yeah, something to complement. That's something missing. It's there in the next book. And also, these things, just because there's nothing to complement, I kept them here in the middle, but it doesn't look good perfectly at the middle. Huh? This is complementing. And again, I move them towards the left. This is something I took long back. I sort of found it cool at that time. It's a shape, a structure of the scene, as you can see. What do you feel about this photo? I personally right now don't like it. Some people might find it good, abstract, but well, I don't. Again, story. This dog, this girl playing, and one of the most important things is this frame. And also these stairs. Everything here is adding to the story, but see, all these things are environment. The environment is adding to the story, but your eyes will go to the subject. So you can see a story from the photo. The environment is almost as much as you want, but it's not distracting the viewer from the subject. Again, in this photo, I think one element is distracting. This. I would have preferred if this was not here. You can see the composition. This umbrella is a very important in the composition. Okay. I could have again taken it from a bit towards the right or left, but I didn't because I wanted the umbrellas exactly this way. Okay. And the faces, the postures, they're all conveying the emotion, but it's more about the environment. It's telling, the environment is also telling the story. Well, some people might have taken it and kept it at the center frame, but I didn't because I wanted this environment to be. It's showing that it's a monastery, it's a Buddhist monastery. So yeah. This projector is there's a person here. Okay, it's not showing the photo properly. But okay, there's a person here. Again, this bird and this person complementing each other. It's a typical, dusk shot, golden hour landscape. You can use the environment to create a frame. This is exactly what I've done here. The clouds are creating the frame, but the frame doesn't always have to be square or, it may not cover all the photo, it's not necessary. But this shape, this line, and this frame, again they're sort of complementing, and this is framing this scenery. This is scenery, you did a frame, this is the frame. I think the composition is very clear why I kept it at the right end. I took it from a bit towards this, like a bit towards the left of it. And so if it was very flat, there wouldn't have been any dynamism. Because it's in a bit of a diagonal thing, there's dynamism in the body. Human story. This was taken in February actually. So, yeah. The face, it's very important. The road. The boy is coming towards this side, the road is going towards that. So I intentionally move towards the left. So it's a very, these elements might seem to you as distracting, but these things will be there in street, a lot of street photographies. And in my opinion, this actually adds to the environment, adds to the story. Because street is, as I told you, it's a very subtle story. So it's not always very, it'll look immediately amazing to your eyes, but it'll tell you a subtle story. And all these things are telling a story. It's a part of the story. But yes, the composition is very important there. I could have taken it in a vertical way, but the problem would have been, there would have been much more clutter and uninteresting elements this side, on the top. So that's why I made it horizontal. And the project is not getting this person here properly, but yeah. There's a boy also.
You can use this position.
It's better. So yeah. Again, this composition, this is sort of copy. I would have preferred if this boy was a bit towards the left, slightly towards the left, and he is almost perfectly at the right of the road. So I would have preferred if he was perfectly at the left. Then the composition would have been much better. see, one of the main points in this photograph is, if a landscape photographer, a traditional landscape photographer took this photo, he or she wouldn't have wanted these people here. Okay. But I generally don't take landscapes. This is sort of a landscape, but these people, they're adding to the story. What is happening in the place? What are the tourists doing there? And well, landscape, you have to see the whole thing as a composition, not at one subject or one environment. You have to see at the whole thing. And also, because these people are there, the size of the mountains is much more clearer to you, because you can compare it with another size. This is the last photo in travel. So again, this cloud, the humans are complementing them. This space is very important because of the shape of the cloud. If I cut off the space, then you can't, like we call this breathing space. In photos, breathing space is very important. There would have been no breathing space for the viewer. The viewer would have been, the eyes would have been stuck. So yeah. That's the end of travel photos. So again, I think the story is very clear here. And okay, in this one I will tell you something. In this photo, even the technicality adds to the composition a lot. I had to keep the aperture, the shutter speed, at exactly at some value, so that they don't get blurred. Remember, birds, even the slightest moves are very fast. So if you take a photo, I actually tried to take some photos using shutter speed like 1/100. It was gone. It was completely gone because the birds are, the slightest movements are very fast. Unless it's a very heavy bird, that's a different thing. But so I cannot reduce the shutter speed a lot. But what I also need to do, I need the light. See, this light is it's beautiful. This light and shadow. Okay. And the background, I want the color because these colors are complementing. This red and this blue, they are complementing. But I don't want the structure because that would have been distracting. So yeah, that's why the technicality adds to the composition. And yeah, the one tool you can see clearly here, but yeah. And these things actually add, because when you go to here, it will bounce back your eyes to the subject. Action. Sort of an action. Well, composition wise, I needed the water. If I remove the water, it would have been very blunt. So water is important. All these things are important. There are almost like 3 or 4 colors in the background. That is important to create the story, to create the mood of the photo. I'll show you 2 different photos here. This one and this one. You see, the action of the bird conveys very different emotions, right? Here it is looking straight at you almost and shocking. The next one, it's pruning. And this environment, it might look, distracting to someone, especially these elements in the environment. But I don't find them distracting because this contrast of the background color, and it's showing that it's some urban environment. It's not a completely rural environment, it's some urban environment. Because it's not something natural, this part. So, action. Very simple action. It's a red bottle lapwing and this is a oriental honey buzzard. So, yeah. Why did I keep the space on the left? Because this bird is flying towards the left. Need some breathing space here. It is possible to crop it here. The story would have been a bit different if you crop it differently. But I prefer this, a bit more space. Why did I not keep any space here? I could not, because I was like, if I was here on the boat, the bird was here. It was so close, and my lenses were fixed. The wildlife lens I use, the telephoto, it's a fixed focal length. So I had no option to keep more space. But still, I tried to get the action and the eyes. See, the eyes are very poignant here. Okay, that will something that will attract the viewer's eyes. Okay. In this one, I gave it some space on the right, and I thought this is enough because if I get more space, it would have been just the sky. That's it, nothing else. So this light, this slight coloration in the sky, and the action of the bird. Everything is adding to the story. Oh, by the way, that's a whisker tern. This is a yellow tern, and this is a bush chat. This is a grey heron, purple heron, and this is Himalayan bull. This is a Siberian ruby throat, and yeah, this is a Muslim. It's eating something. It's action. SEA, action. It's plain and simple action. But see how I have kept this thing, okay, from here to here, so that there's a dynamism, there's a depth in the photograph. This is adding to the depth. This is one of the very old photos I took. It was in 2016, I think. So yeah. At that point, I couldn't think of so many things before taking a photograph. But the most interesting thing here was this is a great egret, this is a small egret, and this is a black-headed ibis. So the three in almost in perfect shape, you know, you can see, and it's sort of a golden spiral composition. If you take just this much, in the rain, that's it. Why did I end it here, you may ask? Because it's pretty, you know, the width is pretty high. So it's not that it's something that is ending here, because it's already ending. I may end it here, I may end it at any side. The photo will end because it's a very close shot. I want the viewer's eyes to go to the bird and the water droplets on the bird and the rain that is coming. So this is not that important. You can keep it at the side, but then what will happen? The position of the bird will change, which will ruin the story of the photo. You can crop it. You can crop it like this. You can crop it in various ways, but the position of the bird will get ruined. This is the photo I started with. It's a landscape, wildlife landscape. I think you can understand that everything is important here. The road, how the road is going. Obviously the monkey, that's the main subject. The light in the trees. Everything. And composition, I think again you can see. This road is going from here to here. I could have kept it a bit towards the left, but I didn't have the option to do that. I was sitting on a Jeep. So yeah. What is missing in this photo?
This green water and maybe bit zoomed out.
Possibility, but that would have been included a lot of distracting elements. If the bird was flapping its wings, it's a grey-hooded warbler. If the bird was flapping its wings, or if the bird had some food in its mouth, then the photo would have been extremely interesting. Okay, that's something missing here. And also this is an Indian robin here. And this one I told you. So I will show you another photo of this. This is a little pied hornbill. Action, clear and simple action, and the environment. I prefer the environment in the next shot. I'll show you. But this one has a very blur background. That is something. It's very crystal clear. The eyes of the viewer is going very fast to the main point. This is a problem. This leaf, but in wildlife photography, you will face these things. Nothing to do. I prefer this one. Even though there is no blur background here, but the environment is the mood, the vibe, the color temperature, everything that it gives. I prefer the story that it tells. It tells the environment, it tells what was the sort of the weather there and what the bird is doing. The last photo, I think. Yeah. It's a portrait again. Because of this tail, I have kept the bird at 1/3. Otherwise, I could have kept the bird at the center. But yeah, it's a plain and simple wildlife portrait. These are some practical tips while doing photography. So, you have to know your subject. You need to understand, you need to think what subject will get conveyed to the viewer. And yeah, like whatever it is, lion or it's a market. Even a market, you can make it a subject, but you have to think how to make the market a subject so that it doesn't becomes an obstruction. It doesn't become like every element of it becomes a distraction. You have to sort of unify the market. That's something you need to think about. You can do it in different ways. Natural light, very important. For every type of photography, there are suitable lights. For landscape, it's generally the early morning or evening, golden hour, blue hours. For wildlife, well, you won't preferably see wildlife except in the morning and in the afternoon. You have to, like, the preferred light for wildlife is around 6 to 7:30, and in the afternoon around 3:30 to, depends on where you are. Here it will be like 5:30 I think. Towards the east it will be 4:35, because that's when the more interesting light will come. Patience is very important in both wildlife and travel. Some might think, oh well, in wildlife it's very clear why it's important. You need to get the moment, you need to wait, maybe you need to wait for the bird or the mammal or whatever. In travel, if you want to find the perfect, so you have to pre-visualize what you want in a photo. Yeah, that's very important actually, pre-visualizing in photography, what you want, even what sort of editing you will do. So, you think this situation might happen, you have to wait for it. Probably that will happen if your guess is good. And yeah, perspective, experiment with perspective. One of the very important things here, if you're standing here and if you think this might be a good photograph, don't take it from here. Change your position and take the photo. Lastly, obviously, tell a story. So yeah, these are all the tips that you can keep in mind. And you can look at this, mine and my father's photos here in Instagram. These are the travel photos and these are the nature related photos. These are the commercial photos, I don't do that. And this is the website. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
So, if you have any questions?
Oh, by the way, this is an astrophotograph. This is the first astrophotograph I did. It was done in Triumph in Himachal. This is the Milky Way as much as I can see, and I think this photo shows the cloud better. So again, I used the cloud for framing. It was a very difficult situation to take photo because the ground was all muddy and full of cow shit, and it was very not a plain land. So yeah, it was very difficult. But yeah, this is I only got 2 shots. I took around 30 shots, and I only got 2. That's it. You will make mistakes. Here the color is the most important thing. Astrophotography, how to tell a story. There are different ways. People actually include a lot of elements from the earth. I tried to do that, but the mistake that I made was, see, when you're trying to get the trees, there's almost no light on the trees. So you have to put some light on the trees. I used a flash, but that was too much. So that ruined the photo. It was distracting at that point of time. So yeah, astrophotography I'll do later. I try to do later more. But yeah, this was the first one I did. Any questions?
So if there are no questions, then can you thank Conrad for the very insightful and
For showing us some stunning photos.
thank you.
Vamos!